On behalf of the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and staff, welcome. We are so excited that you are here for our 102nd annual dinner. The tradition of our dinner is an important way that we bring our business community together to celebrate the ways we have collectively worked to plan our future and realize our present. A present that includes many new academic and trade programs that our colleges and universities have developed to prepare a competent and strong workforce. A present that includes the good work of the NRG RDA, including the site development for the aerospace industry at the Airport Industrial Park. A present that includes a vision for Beckley Outdoors, to establish the city of Beckley as a premier outdoor destination. A present that includes weekly ribbon cuttings for entrepreneurs and small businesses like you saw this evening. A present that includes a proliferation of art in our community. A present complemented by the programs of work at the Chamber, such as Leadership Beckley, where we graduated our 5th class with 20 leaders who care about their community, how it works, and where it's going. A present that includes a remote worker program. A present that includes a Chamber of Commerce foundation focused on community beautification and improvement. Our foundation launched a mass media anti-litter campaign that you may have seen during the reception. We are also just weeks away from the completion of our 2 Piney Creek Gorge murals that will be 50 feet high on 3 sides of the I-64 bridge piers in Glenmorgan. In fact, one of our artists, Melissa Doty, is here with us this evening. You can see her and her fellow artist, Nicole Westfall. Their work is displayed at registration. These are but a few examples of how Beckley-Raleigh County is growing and thriving. But now about tonight. Tonight, we honor a businessman who has served our community not for himself, but for the future generations that he wants to see stay here, work here, and serve here just as he has. And tonight, we hear from a renowned technology leader who has returned to his home state of West Virginia to lead and serve and make our people stronger and better. Thank you once again to our headline sponsor of 29 years, Beckley Appalachian Regional Hospital, and CEO Jeremy Hall. Thank you to our social hour sponsors, table sponsors, AV sponsor, stage sponsor, and floral sponsor. And thank you to the Beckley-Raleigh County Convention Center staff for making this elegant evening possible. I think you are going to be very impressed with their ability to serve over 600 hand-cut filet mignons cooked to perfection tonight. So without delay, let's get this program started. It is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Jay Quessenberry.
Good evening. It's a real pleasure to be with you this evening. What a great evening. And it's good to see such a tremendous crowd supporting the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce. Can you imagine 102 years of these chamber dinners? It's pretty remarkable. But it is an honor to be here. And I want to introduce to you our head tables. We have a much different venue this year. As you can see, we have this living room set up here, and we've got head tables on each side. And the first table that I want to introduce is the table to my left over here. And of course, our special guest this evening, Brad D. Smith, who is president of Marshall University and co-founder of the Wing to Wing Foundation. It's so great to have you here in Beckley, West Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Also, Donnie Holcomb, our Community Leadership Award recipient, right next to him, and his lovely wife, Linda Holcomb. And we have Noah Knapp, who's the Vice President of Compliance, and Tiffany Knapp, who is the President of Compliance and Chairperson of the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce. Let's give table number one a warm welcome. And over here, the other head table, to my right, we have Michelle Rodolini, who is President and CEO of the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce. And next to her is Chad Hutchison of Aflac. Quack, quack. Good to have you, Chad. And we also have Jeremy Hall, who is CEO of Appalachian Regional Hospital and sponsor of this great dinner. And by the way, they've been sponsoring folks for 29 years. And right next to Jeremy is his lovely wife, Megan Hall. Please give table number two a welcome as well. And we also want to make you aware we have many audience dignitaries here, and we would like to ask all of these currently holding office from each category to please stand. We begin with folks representing U.S. Senators, the U.S. House of Representatives, the Supreme Court of West Virginia Senators, members of the West Virginia House of Delegates, West Virginia Department Secretaries and Commissioners, Raleigh County Commissioners, Raleigh County Circuit Clerk, Raleigh County Clerk, Raleigh County Sheriff, Raleigh County Assessor, the City of Beckley Mayor, the City of Beckley Common Council, the Board of Education, and university and college presidents. Please, all of you elected officials, please stand so we can recognize you. It's a great honor. Public service is an honor, and we thank you for your service. We also have some other special guests here, including Beckley remote workers. That's kind of exciting, and we want Eli Tudor to stand, please. Eli Tudor. And by the way, Eli Tudor, Mr. Smith, works for Intuit, and he's a remote worker here in Beckley, West Virginia. How about that? Also, Brandon and Breanne Zitting, who are also remote workers. Could you stand as well? And we do appreciate these remote workers choosing Beckley, West Virginia. And again, we want to thank Jeremy Hall, CEO of Beckley Appalachian Regional Hospital, sponsor of this annual dinner for 29 years. And Jeremy, we'd like to invite you up to share a few words of wisdom with us this evening. Jeremy Hall, ladies and gentlemen, from Bar H here in Beckley.
I'm not sure about words of wisdom, but I'll do the best I can. First of all, I'd like to say it's amazing to see the amount of support that we have here tonight. The crowd that's assembled to recognize the work that the Chamber does to help our communities grow. I would also like to just take a quick moment to recognize Michelle and her staff for the work that they've put in to make this event possible. Yeah. You know, the Chamber is really focused on creating a community and an environment that is focused on creating an environment where business and economies can grow and flourish. At ARH, we also recognize the need to grow and to support the community. Not only are we one of the largest providers of healthcare services in the region, we're also one of the largest employers with over 650 employees here in the community. So we recognize the great responsibility that comes with that. We also recognize the responsibility for us to continue to grow. Recently we have added some services to our hospital that are not available in Southern West Virginia. We're also focused on growing services that we already offer. Last year we added Dr. Shah Khan, who is a interventional gastroenterologist. He's the only physician of this specialty in the southern half of West Virginia. We will be bringing an orthopedic surgeon onto our team within the next 3 months. We will also be adding an interventional cardiologist to our team in the next 3 months. All of these are examples of growth that we find to be important. One of the most important and exciting things that we have going on at the hospital is, about 2 weeks ago, we received word that the West Virginia Hospital Healthcare Authority had granted us the right to provide elective interventional cardiac procedures in our cath lab. So, yeah, thank you. So what does this mean for the community? To this point, we were only allowed to place stents in the heart for patients who are actively having a heart attack. Now, if a patient comes in for a diagnostic heart cath and they're determined to be at risk for cardiac disease, and we go in and see a blockage, we can place that stent right now. Up to this point, we would have to transfer that patient to another hospital, sometimes out of town. Sometimes they would have to go home and wait on a time that they could come back and get that placed. Now there's no delay in care. It's a higher level of service, better ability to serve the people here in this community. Another example of growth. Again, it's good to see the support that we have here. ARH has been, loyal supporters of the Chamber of Commerce for many years now. I've been on the board of the Chamber, on and off for the last probably 8 years. And I'd like to thank everybody for the support that they've shown. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy, and we appreciate all you do here in the Beckley, Southern West Virginia area. Thank you very much. We also want to introduce to you this evening the Piney Creek mural artist, Melissa Doty. Can you stand up, please? And by the way, if you're wondering what that is, that's those big bridge piers down in Glen Morgan. The Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce is always trying to improve our community, and she's going to be painting some great-looking murals down there in Glen Morgan, West Virginia. A couple of other sponsors, too, that we want to mention this evening. Our audio-visual sponsor is a local company, Cucumber and Company. Dwayne Muncie does a great job. He does websites and video and audio, and we really appreciate him. Dwayne's probably back there working the camera, but we thank Dwayne for his good work. Let's give him a round of applause. And our floral sponsor, these beautiful flowers come from Crystal's Floral, owned and operated by Crystal Boland. She's located at 2315 South Fayette Street here in Beckley. And we appreciate that. And also, this great furniture up here. You notice the setup we've got looks like your home living room. The furniture came courtesy of Grand Home Furnishings in Beckley, and we thank them for that. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Did you enjoy the social hour? Did everybody enjoy the social hour? Well, it was sponsored by Apex Towers, also City National Bank Mortgage, Dickinson Fuel Company, Infuse One, Little General Stores, the Beckley-Raleigh County Memorial Airport, Raleigh General Hospital, the Rotary Club of Beckley, Sears Monument Company, Summit Community Bank, WOAY-TV, ABC4, and WVNS 59 News. Thanks to our social hour sponsors once again this year on the 102nd Annual Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce Dinner. And now it's time to eat. But before we eat, we want to invite Pastor Doc Adkins to come to the podium and bless our food. Pastor, if you'd come to the podium, please. Pastor Doc Adkins.
Let us pray. Thank you, our eternal God, for a beautiful day that you truly have given to us. And God, for this lovely occasion that we gather with folk here in Beckley, God, that we might, God, share the progress and the successes that you have brought to our town and our community. And I thank you for that. God, bless businesses that are represented here and individuals that are so very vitally important, God, to the development of our county and our town, as well as our state. And God, thank you, Father, for those who very diligently have put in the time to make this occasion as lovely as it certainly is. We ask you, God, that you would indeed bless our meal. God, make us mindful, Father, of how blessed we are to have a meal such as this. And God, for all these things, God, we will not fail to thank you or praise you, because we ask it in Jesus, the Savior of the world's name. Amen.
Folks, please enjoy this delicious meal prepared by the staff here at the Beckley-Raleigh County Convention Center, served by their staff, and also served this evening by the WVU soccer team. So enjoy your meal, and the program will be coming up shortly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen, as you finish your meal, wasn't this a great meal, those hand-cut fillets? Let's give the Beckley-Raleigh County Convention Center a round of applause. And by the way, the servers were the soccer team from WVU Tech. Isn't that great? Thank you, WVU Tech soccer team. As a part of housekeeping duty, we do have someone's card up here, a little, I would say credit card, it's actually a debit card, and it is Miss Linda M. Walker. We have your card here, so we want to give it back to you. But without further ado, we want to invite once again, oh yes, we want to remind you as well, look on the table at the beautiful centerpieces. You see those centerpieces on your table? Someone from your table can take that with you tonight. We want you to take that because it keeps the staff from having to clean those up or take them away. So some lucky person at every table gets a free centerpiece. And those centerpieces were provided by Crystal's Floral. They're beautiful. And that's Crystal Boland at 2315 South Fayette Street in Beckley. So take one and enjoy. And once again, we do have a card up here. The name on it is Linda M. Walker. We'll have your card for you. And without further ado, we want to invite up once again the President and CEO of the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce, Michelle Rodolini. Give her a round of applause.
Hello again. This is the part of the evening where we honor our immediate past board chairperson, who for 2022 was Mr. Jay DiBartolomeo. Unfortunately, Jay couldn't be here this evening, but I didn't want to go without recognizing the way in which he emerged with outstanding leadership in 2022. It was the year we really saw things begin to turn around post-pandemic, and we were able to hold our first annual dinner and many other networking events and festivals. We saw the return of many of our education programs and had more ribbon cuttings in 2022 than the Chamber has ever seen. And the leaders of the community worked diligently together to create an upward trajectory for Beckley-Raleigh County, and Jay supported all of the partnerships to ensure a brighter future for our community. So even though he can't be here, I do want to thank our 2022 chairperson, Jay DiBartolomeo. I am now honored to introduce our 2023 chairperson, Miss Tiffany Kapp.
Good evening, everybody. First, I would like to thank Jeremy Hall and Beckley ARH for your all sponsorship for 29 years. Thank you so much. As I reflect upon 2022 and the various challenges that quickly become achievements, my foresight indicates that 2023 can be held to an even higher standard than bygone years. As the controls of the pandemic fade, we finally have the freedom to act on the myriad of ideas that have incubated over the past 3 years. My goal as your current chairman is to work with the current board, all the dedicated chamber members and the chamber staff to bring these obstructions to fruition. To do this, we will need to focus on the areas of economic growth, development, community, and networking where the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber has already established major inroads. Economic growth is what moves a community from merely existing to thriving. By placing an emphasis on collaborating with others on economic growth, the Chamber understands that they are helping to reinnovate the community and improve the quality of life. Through efforts such as the Remote Worker Program and the partnership with the City of Beckley, the Chamber aims to bring talented young individuals to our community. The Chamber supports Beckley Outdoors and all efforts around outdoor recreation. We believe these efforts will help our business community by bringing in new jobs, new residents, and more visitors. The Chamber's Raleigh County Make It Shine Committee and BRCCC Foundation work hand in hand to improve the aesthetic of the community through initiatives such as public art projects and countywide spring and fall litter cleanup programs. The Chamber looks to sustain and grow existing businesses by offering community information and resources that are not readily available by other means. We provide networking opportunities to keep our businesses connected and give them the ability to support one another. The Chamber stays active within the community and supports other organizations in achieving their goals. We assist with educational programs such as the Get a Life Financial Program, Career Day, and we provide judges for the social studies and science fairs to our local schools. We advocate for both parents and child care facilities in order to improve workforce participation. We offer the Leadership Beckley program to develop leaders in our community. All of these programs of work advance the business community. I am excited about being the chairperson of this energetic organization with a board of directors committed to our business community. The ties that bind our community continue to be strengthened by the fibers added by each new chamber initiative. I look forward to serving our community, and I'm honored to be the 2023 board chairperson. Please watch this short video that we have been using for our marketing campaign.
We'd like to welcome you and your company to the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce, located in the beautiful mountains of West Virginia and right next to Grandview National Park. We cover businesses all across Raleigh County. This is a vibrant business community where you can share ideas, access new opportunities, and generate leads for your business.
Hi, I'm Lee Forbes with Aruga Touch in Beaver. Our experience with the Chamber of Commerce here in the Beckley area has been just a growing experience. Initially, when we started, things were kind of slow and we tried conventional ways of promoting, but the Chamber has come in and said, hey, let's boost your business. Let's get into the expo and a lot of other things. So the Chamber for us is becoming a bigger blessing as we go on.
Founded in 1920, our goal is to collaborate with leaders to build a vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive community.
I'm Mike Woody, owner of Gresham Plumbing Supply. We recently moved to Beckley. Our primary business is plumbing supply. We've been introduced to Beckley by the Beckley Chamber of Commerce. It's been a tremendous experience. Michelle and Denise at the Chamber have been so helpful to us, getting to know the Beckley customers and the Beckley businesses, and just to make us welcome to Raleigh County and to the city of Beckley.
I'm Brian Merchant, co-owner of Merchant's Deli Market. The Chamber of Commerce has helped us tremendously as far as marketing is concerned, and just their offer of friendship.
Joining the Chamber has been amazing for us. It provides numerous networking opportunities, and we've already met a lot of people that might come and buy a lot of sandwiches.
So, Why should you join the Chamber of Commerce? With a population of over 73,000 people and over 3,000 businesses, the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce is the perfect community for you and your business to connect. After all, that's what the Chamber does best. It connects people just like you. Join the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce today, because small businesses define our community. It's the one place you can go to for all of the help and support you need. For more information, visit brccc.com or call 304-252-7328.
And now we have arrived at our exciting time of our program when we present the 32nd recipient of the Community Leadership Award. Since 1991, the Community Leadership Award has become a part of the Chamber's annual dinner. This award has been given annually to the business leader or organization that has most positively impacted the community through their excellence in business leadership and community service over their lifetime. The person we are honoring this evening is an outstanding businessman who has brought economic impact to our area in addition to giving back to the community through serving on boards and volunteering his time and talent to countless organizations. This year, the Chamber presents Donnie Holcomb as the 32nd recipient of the prestigious Community Leadership Award. Donnie Holcomb is a 1979 Concord graduate who has had a successful career working as a CPA, business unit manager, vice president, and president of private companies in the areas of contract mining, automotive dealerships, and consulting for natural resources. He has also served as the chief financial officer for a large private coal company and a manager of Greenway Health Management, LLC. He has served on the Concord University Board of Advisors, is a Paul Harris Fellow, and past president of the Beckley Rotary Club. He continues to serve on the Board of Governors of Marshall University, the Dickerson Group, one of the largest landowners in West Virginia, and the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce. He is a trustee for the Klein Family Foundation. In October of 22, Donnie received the Philanthropist of the Year Award from Concord University for facilitating change and making a meaningful impact. In addition to all of his professional accomplishments and volunteer experience, Donnie is one of the most generous people you will ever meet. He is one of the top financial supporters of Concord University, having sponsored many foundation dinners, contributing to the Race to Resurface the Track campaign, being a major contributor to the President's House Renovation Project, support the Concord University Gap Fund, Pathways Retention Scholarship, and even starting his own scholarship in honor of his family. This past summer, Donnie made the first major gift to the new Concord University Ascend campaign. Donnie served as the campaign chair in 2018 for the United Way of Southern West Virginia, raising nearly $900,000, the largest amount ever raised by the United Way. Donnie continues to make an impact on all the charities in our area, as well as having a big heart for anyone in need. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 32nd Community Leadership Award recipient, Donnie Holcomb.
After all that, I need to sit down.
Yeah. does it feel to receive this award this evening?
Well, it's a humbling event for sure. I never set out to win awards or do this sort of thing. I'm not sure. I'm certainly thankful, and I appreciate all the people that are here that support the chamber and the things that the community does.
So, being from Raleigh County, can you tell us a little bit about growing up in Wyoming County?
Sure. Wyoming County predominantly was made up of mining families. You can see here with the folks from my family that are here, my brother and sister, our grandparents and parents taught us, along with aunts, uncles, and everyone else in the community. It didn't matter if you were related or not. Everyone was looking out for everyone, and all was from the heart. It wasn't easy. We dealt with a lot of accidents, mining accidents, and other various kinds of things that are involved with the industry. But everyone always kept a positive attitude and wanted their kids to achieve all that they could possibly achieve.
So, touching on, since you did talk about being in the coal industry, can you tell us about working in and around the coal industry, and what do you think some of the lessons that you have learned?
Well, I certainly learned a lesson of hard work, and hard work without necessarily expecting anything from it as a direct contribution. I was fortunate that our father was in the coal industry. The one thing that he asked me and my brother, he didn't want us to work underground in the coal mines as he had done. And so I did the next best thing. I was able to go to college and get a degree, learn from some really good people, and I got involved in running coal companies instead of working underground in the mines as my father had done.
You have a history of serving on boards and advocating for universities. Can you tell us what inspires you to be involved in higher education?
Well, we have over 600 people here, and if we have children, if we educate those kids in whatever field it may be, I think that if you raise the water level, all boats rise with it. Our communities would be able to do things that we've not yet imagined, and as they change, those educated kids would be able to adapt to whatever comes in front of them.
So you have a love for cars, right?
Yeah.
What started this passion?
Well, I probably have to go all the way back to my childhood in Wyoming County. Our family, aunts, uncles, the coal miners all like cars. It's one thing that they look forward to do. Miners' vacation would come along, and a lot of the people would take the vacation pay and they would buy a new car. And so our dad had a 55 or 56 Buick, and he was doing some work on the garage at our house, and there was a sand pile. And so I was acting like a mechanic, and I took this sand, and I was acting like I was filling the car with fuel, and I filled his gas tank up with sand. And needless to say, that car never was the same. But our community here, matter of fact, there's a couple tables of people here that are also car lovers, and I'm involved in national shows as well as the Concours that takes place at the Greenbrier. But we brought 180 plus cars, antique cars, to Beckley last summer, and there were 120 judges that were here for that event. And the economic impact of that sort of gathering is substantial for our community and the hotels, restaurants, and so forth. But besides that, I do own a few cars and enjoy. It all started out as a stress reliever, because I have always been used to working long days, a lot of stress, coal mining industry. You always go home and you hope you don't get that call that night of some horrific thing that's happened. And so I could turn a couple bolts on a car, go in the house, and, you know, it seemed like everything was fine.
So tell us what's your favorite.
Favorite car? Well, it has been probably, I've owned a lot of Corvettes. My brother and I, we have some arguments about Ford and Chevrolet. And, you know, I was in the Ford business here in town along with the Dickinson family and Keith Tyler, and got a lot of kidding during that time. But there's a car that I have that has a major amount of history with Beckley. It's a 39 Ford, and there's a gentleman that owned that car for many years. It came to Beckley in 1952. It was bought by Mel Hancock's father for him when he was a junior in high school. He kept it until his daughter went to college, and he sold it to Coach Pruitt. And Coach Pruitt I can see how he was a championship coach. I was living in Florida at the time, and he calls me from Huntington and says, "I'm in this car and I'm coming to Beckley. When I get there, you're going to buy it from me." And so I said, "Coach, I'm 850 miles from home. I'm not looking for another car." And he said, "Oh yeah, when I explain, you'll buy it. And I know you can." And so when he gets to our office, he comes in and he has a check that it was made out to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I think he knew that that would be like turning the church down. And so I ended up with this car, and practically every mechanic and friend and anyone that's been around Mel Hancock, everyone helped Mel with this car. So it has just it's a car of the heart of a lot of people here in town. And so I've recently refurbed this car so that it's safe to drive for hopefully the next generation of Raleigh Countyans and mechanics that hopefully have the skill to work on it. So we'll call that my favorite at the moment.
Well, Donnie, this is a much-deserved award for you, and we would like to thank you, and thank you all for everything you've done for our community, and just keep doing the good things that you do for us. And thank you. Everybody, Donnie Holcomb, 32nd award recipient.
Thank you. Bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Ms. Kapp and Donnie Holcomb. Congratulations. And once again, we want to introduce to you again our Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Michelle Rodolini, who is going to introduce our featured speaker. Michelle?
Congratulations, Donnie. Brad D. Smith is the current president of Marshall University. He was named to the position in January 2022 and was invested during a ceremony in September. As a proud West Virginian with a passion for leadership and philanthropy, Brad D. Smith is focused on helping facilitate change by developing, supporting, and investing in people. His devotion to giving back to his home state runs deep, and he is committed to providing educational and economic development resources to the Appalachian region, where many communities have been disproportionately affected by technological and economic change. During Brad's 11-year tenure as CEO of Intuit, he was able to transform the company's business structure from a North American desktop software company to a global cloud-based platform with a portfolio that included TurboTax, QuickBooks, and Mint. The transformation was born from an innovation culture built around data-driven decision-making and rapid experimentation. The drive to innovate across all layers of the company transformed the way Intuit was able to serve its consumers, small businesses, and partners. This led to record growth that nearly doubled the company's revenues and increased its stock price more than 500%, and positioned Intuit as the industry leader. Under his leadership, the company consistently was recognized as one of the world's best places to work. Intuit placed on the Fortune Best Companies to Work For list each year during his tenure, ranking number 13 in the United States and number 1 in India, Singapore, and Canada in 2017. In 2016, Brad was ranked among the top CEOs in the United States by Fortune magazine, coming in at number 6 on their list. Before his time at Intuit, Brad's career spanned 4 industries, including stints at PepsiCo, 7-Up, Advo, and ADP, where he led large global organizations through turnaround transformation and high-growth environments. He has served as the executive chairman of the board of Intuit, as chairman of the Nordstrom board, and as a board member of Momentive, formerly SurveyMonkey, and Yahoo. He was recently appointed to the board of directors at Humana. Brad's Wing to Wing Foundation, which he co-founded with his wife Alice, provides increased access and support for education, entrepreneurship, mentoring, and investment, and works to position West Virginia as a showcase for the nation. One of the foundation's signature initiatives is Ascend West Virginia, the nation's premier remote workforce recruitment program. Originally from Canova, Brad earned his bachelor's degree in business administration from Marshall University and his master's degree in management from Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Brad and Alice are the parents of 2 grown daughters, Peyton Smith and Devin Smith Hain. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Brad D. Smith, president of Marshall University.
Thank you, Michelle. That was too kind. I wish we could just get it down to Brad from Canova. That says it all. May I just start by thanking Michelle and the Chamber. I also want to thank Jeremy for the sponsorship and your amazing partnership with our university and our academic health system. It's incredible. Tiffany, I'm looking forward to this discussion. But Donnie, you're my hero. When you have a chance to have someone serve on your board and bring you the wisdom and the counsel that you would pay any dollar for, you know you're in the right place. Donnie is an amazing board member and a great friend, and you deserve tonight's recognition. Thank you.
We have a surprise.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to say something.
We'd like to call now to the podium the Honorable Mayor of the great city of Beckley, West Virginia, Rob Rappold.
I President Smith, your incredible resume has been so eloquently documented by all who have spoken. You are truly my hero and the hero, I would think, of everybody in this room this evening. Your philanthropy, your vision, your generosity is unmatched. And for that reason, on behalf of the city of Beckley, it's my honor to present you with the key to the city of Beckley. And I'll do that. Oh, yes, yeah. So there we go.
That is amazing. Thank you, Mayor. I have one other key to a city. My daddy was the mayor of the hometown of Canova, and unfortunately he passed in his second term, but he had a key and they gave it to me, and now I get this. I don't know whose house this opens, but I'll be trying it later this evening. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so tell us, what is the path that took a young man from Canova, West Virginia to the boardroom of a Fortune 500 company in Silicon Valley?
Oh my gosh. I'll make this a short version. I grew up, I had an idyllic childhood. Amazing parents, 2 wonderful brothers, friends and family that have lasted a lifetime. When I graduated from Marshall, my career took me 36 years through 10 states, 4 industries. I ended up in Silicon Valley. Have no idea. I surrounded myself with people smarter than me, and I ended up having the chance to lead a wonderful company into it for 11 years. And then during that period, people began to ask would I join boards, and I did that. But what was amazing was when I stepped down in 2019, I wasn't sure how I would contribute next. But what I did know is Tim McGraw's song was very popular at the time, Humble and Kind. And the last stanza says, when you get to where you're going, don't forget to stop and turn back around and help the next one in line. And I realized that everything in my life was because of a state and a community that saw something in me I didn't see in myself. So my wife and I started the Wing to Wing Foundation, and we began to pour all of our love and all of our time back into West Virginia. And somehow they told me they were looking for a president. And I said, for goofs, I'll go ahead and put my name in. And they picked me. But you've seen the movie We Are Marshall. We're Marshall, we take anybody. So I guess we're proving it with me. It's all good.
You've talked about your commitment and compassionate leadership. Tell us about that leadership philosophy and why that is important to you.
You know, Maya Angelou, the amazing poet who's passed, had a saying that I think resonates for me. In the end, people will not remember what you said, they will not remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And I had an amazing mentor who told me once, your title makes you a manager, but the people will decide if you're a leader. And so for me, my most iconic leaders were people who led with kindness and compassion. In fact, my favorite leader of all time is Mr. Rogers. When you think about Mr. Rogers, we think about the Child Whisperer and the Puppeteer and the movie, the show that he had for years. But when you think about leadership, they do 3 things. They set an amazing, bold vision. They surround themselves with great people. And then they deliver results that no one else can match. Mr. Rogers, back in the 60s, harnessed the newest technology, which was television in the home, to reach 6-year-olds and help improve their mental and their physical well-being. And he did it while taking on the most volatile issues at the time. He taught about divorce, he taught about war, he taught about death, he taught about racism. And he did all that in the first 2 weeks on the air. So he was willing to do amazing things to help shape society while touching the hearts of children. And it was amazing. When you look at his career, there's 2 things that stand out. One time in 1969, there was a horrible situation in the South where they were pouring Clorox bleach into swimming pools to try to keep kids out of the pool that they didn't want to swim. And that evening, he went home, and on the fly, he wrote the script for the show. And he had Officer Clemens, if you recall, was a black police officer on the show. He put a wading pool down, and he was soaking his feet, and he invited Officer Clemens to soak his feet next to him. And he bent down and took the shoes off of Officer Clemens and washed his feet. And he sent the message to the entire United States that this is where he stood on the issue. That, for me, is amazing leadership. Do not mistake kindness for weakness. Compassion is a strength.
So speaking of leadership, sometimes being a leader means you'll face public criticism. Do you have an example of some criticism you have received, and what did you say to stay positive and overcome that criticism?
I face it every day. In fact, coming back home, when I was announced as the next president, there were people who were concerned that a non-academic would come to a university and what would I bring to the table that could be helpful to Marshall University. And so there were some people who protested. And it was raining outside the day I was announced. And so what I tried to do is realize it's not personal. And I went outside in the rain and invited the men out of the rain and asked them if they wanted to at least eat and let me understand what it was that they were worried about. My mom used to tell me to seek to understand before you seek to be understood. And by sitting and listening to them and hearing their concerns, I was able to better appreciate their perspective. And then that actually helped me become a better president. The first 100 days I went on a listening tour. I did 38 listening sessions with over 1,000 people, and I got to hear what they were worried about. And then from there, it helped shape how I wanted to approach this job. So I would say don't take it personally. Recognize that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you use them in that ratio, you'll be okay.
So you gave us a little bit of information on how you made it back to the Mountain State. What was the relationship like while you were away?
My social media account has a saying underneath my name. I'm a boy from a small town in West Virginia who spent 22 years dreaming of a way out, and every day after that looking for a way home. My heart never left. My mom still lives in the same town, the same house that I grew up in. My brothers are living there, and 1 mile away, my older brother. My cousins, my aunts, my uncles are all out in Wayne, in Wayne County. And when I got home, I had told my mom when I left, Mom, I'll be back in 2 years. I just want to see what's on the other side of the mountains. Well, 36 years later, I knocked on the front door after they announced me, and it was like Forrest Gump coming home from Vietnam. I knocked on the door and I said, Mom, I'm home. And she said, honey, I've got your G.I. Joes in the toy box waiting for you. And I said, Mom, at the time, I'm 58 years old. I have 2 daughters that are already through university, and I'm married. I haven't played with my G.I. Joes for years. And she said, I know, but I remember they made you happy, so I kept them. And I knew I was home.
In your opinion, what do you think the future of our state looks like?
I think it's incredible. I will tell you, I believe we're at a strategic intersection where our most valuable assets, which are our people, our values and our culture and our communities, our business-friendly policies, and our natural resources align perfectly with the major trends that are shaping the 21st century. Those trends include a rise in entrepreneurial spirit where people want to not just celebrate inspiration, they want to celebrate perspiration. Do things with your hands, be builders. That's who we are. The second big trend is a rise in remote work, which you obviously have embraced. Today, over 40% of the nation can live anywhere they want and work, and we have these amazing resources here that they want to be a part of. These are Hallmark communities. People watch the Hallmark show to think about a community like we have in West Virginia. And then the third trend is rural is now the new urban. When you interview people who live in San Francisco and New York and these places, they don't want to live in these vertical cities. They want to live where they can go outside and see the mountains and see God bring the sun up over the mountains. So we are sitting here with these mountains and these rivers and these valleys that used to be walls. Well, now they're welcome signs. And we are perfectly positioned to capitalize on this. And that's why I'm so excited to be here, because we are set up. Our time has come.
So with that, and talking about the state and the future, what would you say to a high school student that is trying to determine whether to leave after graduation or stay?
I would tell you, you're part of a very special group. God made special people when He made West Virginians. He made us out of grit. He made us out of grace. We are dreamers. We are doers. We have always answered the call. We come from the families that mined the coal, that forged the steel, that built the roads, that carried the trucks. We fought the wars. When our president said we need a man on the moon by the end of the decade, we produced Homer Hickam and the Rocket Boys in October Sky. And then he said we need to get them safely back to Earth, and we produced Katherine Johnson and the Hidden Figures and got them home. And I would say to this next generation, for about 20 years, they've been telling us we don't belong anymore. And I don't believe it. They need us right now. And they need us for a reason, because of our compassion, our ingenuity. I said if my car ever broke down, I wanted to break down in West Virginia for 2 reasons. People are kind enough to stop and crafty enough to know how to fix it. And if you're lucky, Donnie will give you one of his cars, which would be great.
Cantua has more than 10,000 employees. Marshall University has more than 10,000 students. How is being at the helm of those two entities similar, and how is it different?
That's a great question. I didn't know what I didn't know until I got in the job. I will tell you what's the same. It doesn't matter if you're at Nordstrom or you're at Yahoo or you're at Intuit or you're at Marshall. We're all in the people business. And people do not care what you know until they know that you care. If you care about your people, you care about your customers, you care about your students, and you try to do good things for them, most of it works itself out. Now, what is different? I traded a profession for a purpose. When I get the chance to watch these students walk across the platform and I hand them their diploma, 54% of Marshall students this year are first in their family to go to college, just like me and my brothers were. And I know that it's going to change their life, and I love to see their families cheer up in the stands when they walk across. That is a calling, that's a purpose, that's not a job. On the other side, private industry celebrates ideas to impact. It's not just about having a great idea and publishing a paper, it's about actually creating a job and getting it done. So I want to see the university get more into the create the job business and not just in the generate the idea business, because that's what will keep our students here, and that's what we're working on.
So what is the best part of being the Marshall University president?
Purpose. Mark Twain once said the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. It has always been my why. West Virginia is my why. Miranda Lambert said it's the house that built me. It is. And it is just amazing to have the chance to come back and walk in the same hallways where they taught me and now have the chance to pay it forward. It's incredible.
So you have made some bold statements about addressing student debt at Marshall University. Can you talk a little bit about Marshall for All plan and how you plan to achieve it?
I can. The reality is this. Today there are 46 million people in the United States, many of whom have not completed a degree, they've got a partial degree, but all of whom have one thing in common, student loan debt, $1.7 trillion. What we have decided to do is we've studied universities like Berea College, where they actually have a work-study program where you come and you work and it pays for your tuition. We've studied Ohio State, which has a scarlet and gray advantage. And the reason why we have is because while Marshall University is incredibly affordable, we still have 63% of our students who graduate with an average of $28,000 of student loan debt. And we can't let that be when they leave, because then they have to go someplace else because they think they have to go someplace where they can pay off their debt. So what we've decided to do is we've launched a program where in 10 years we want to guarantee 100% of our students they'll get a job and 0 students will graduate with student loan debt. Now to do that, we're working with federal dollars, with state dollars, we're working with the state government here. There's 1,000 open jobs in the state of West Virginia, and they pay an average of $16 an hour. That's $20,000 a year part-time, and our tuition's $8,000 a year. So we could get our students a job in the state, they'll work around their class, and they can pay for their tuition and also get good experience. Now, what we're going to do on top of that is we have to raise $300 million in the next 10 years. $300 million. Everybody's going, that's a lot of money. Marshall just raised $176 million in 4 years. Higher math from Wayne County tells me multiply that, and you can get to $300 million, so we're going to do it. That's our promise. No student loan debt.
So today you visited a few of the high schools in the area today. How did the visits go, and what are some of your takeaways?
We've got some amazing high schools here. I tell you, Woodrow Wilson High School looked like a college. It was incredible, and then we also went to Shady Springs. The students are incredible. When you sit and talk to them, they are amazingly advanced. I certainly wasn't there when I was their age. What we did today is we visited these high schools and we did something called Academic Signing Day. I love our athletics, and you see these student athletes that commit to go to Marshall or go to WVU or go to Concord, one of these other schools, but we don't celebrate those who just make a commitment to go to school. And so what we did is we had those students come up if they've committed to go to Marshall. We had Marco come from Huntington, so we had our mascot, and we had the local television station, and we had them sign their letter of commitment, and then I read out to everybody what they were going to study, and all their peers applauded them. So we had the whole senior class there. We had 30 students come up who committed to Marshall. I told them they're going to be a radiologist, going to be a nurse, and they got standing ovations. It was unbelievable. I loved it.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience this evening?
You inspire us. You always have. I heard about the legends of Beckley and Raleigh County growing up where I grew up. And I'm here tonight, and I have been speaking to chambers all around the state. I have not seen anything like this. This is incredible. And I will say to you that the one thing I hope our state can embrace is Michelangelo once said that success is seldom limited when you aim too high and fall a little short. It's when you aim too low and you hit the target. We have to start dreaming bigger again. We have done amazing things in this state. We've done amazing things for this nation and for this world. And it's our turn again. Let's take our seat at the table. Let's show them what we're made of. Go big or go home.
All right, everybody. Mr. Brad Smith and Mr. Donnie Holcomb.
Our thanks to President Smith of Marshall University and to Donnie Holcomb, and also to our sponsors for making this happen. This concludes our program. Our thanks to the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for your support of this Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce. Have a pleasant evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.